Good evening and welcome to This Is the Day. My name is Sarah Otieno. We are live on Family TV, where we're keeping Jesus on the airwaves, and also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. Thank you so much for making time for This Is the Day, this beautiful Tuesday evening. The WhatsApp number that you can use to text us from is 0786 316 316, SMS line 20316, and on Facebook and Twitter at Family Radio 316. And let us get to know what is making headline in our country and across the globe today. So the CAS for Health, that is Dr. Mercy Mwangangi, gave a press briefing today about the state of our nation and where we are at when it comes to the COVID-19 pandemic. And she says in the last 24 hours, 216 people were tested. And out of that, we had 8 more cases testing positive of COVID-19. So it is a distribution between Nairobi County, Siaya County, and in Nakuru. Nairobi had 6 cases, Siaya had 1 case, and in Nakuru, we also had 1 case. And listen in to the press briefing.
In the last 24 hours, fellow Kenyans, we have tested 694 samples. Out of these samples, 8 have tested positive for coronavirus disease, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 216. 5 are Kenyans, and the other 3 are of different nationalities, foreign nationalities. 6 have a history of travel from Dubai, the UK, Pakistan, Zambia, and Comoros. The spread of the new cases with regards to their counties of residence is as follows: Nairobi 6, Siaya 1, Nakuru 1. And in terms of age distribution, the pattern continues, and we're seeing that this disease, fellow Kenyans, is actually affecting the productive members of our society. As it stands today, we have about 5 patients who fall within the age group of 0 to 14. We have 15 to 19 falling to 58 in terms of count. And we have about 64% of our cases falling between the age group of 30 to 59, again affecting the productive members of this society.
Well, this disease, as the CAS is saying, is affecting the productive members of the society. And please note that we have children less than 1 year who've also suffered because of the COVID-19 virus. So you just need to be vigilant. But 1 person also recovered, now bringing the total number of those that have recovered from COVID-19 to 41. And she pointed out some good news. Mass testing of the virus has started in our country, and they said they're going to distribute the testing kits across different counties in the country. Now, the Kenya Ports Authority, that is in Mombasa County, is going to get a total of 1,000 testing kits. And this will also happen across different counties, considering that COVID-19 patients have also been reported in different counties, in most of the counties in Kenya. And in the phase 1 exercise of this distribution, they're going to roll out 12,000 testing kits. Listen in.
We are rolling out mass testing exercise, taking into consideration the risk profiles of clusters. And as an example, fellow Kenyans, in Nairobi, for instance, we shall prioritize the quarantine centers, hotels, isolation facilities, and hospitals. These form our top 4 priority in Nairobi. We have also identified different cluster areas, and in the coming week, we shall be able to share with you where these cluster areas are within Nairobi County and in the different counties. As an example, Kibera has been identified, and we shall also have prioritized testing in that cluster. In Mombasa, we are deploying 1,000 testing kits to Kenya Ports Authority, KPA. And this is based on the risk of transmission that has been identified from our monitoring teams. And the same will happen in Mandera and Siaya counties. In total, the first phase of mass testing will see approximately 12,000 testing kits deployed to target areas in the next few days.
Well, 12,000 testing kits are being deployed to different counties to make sure that the cases of COVID-19, if there is any in the counties, then it is detected on time. And this is good news because now the number of cases that will be tested on a daily basis will increase. So that is good news. But also, as people are staying home and it is a directive, most of the people are working from home. So there has been a spiking rise of the number of domestic violence, sexual abuse, and gender-based violence that have been reported. And this is through the government and the relevant authorities. People are fighting. People are being exposed to different kind of violence during this time as people are staying home. And the CAS from the Ministry of Health, Dr. Mercy Mwangangi, said that as much as these cases are happening, the law is also taking its course. Please remember that the law is not on recess. It has not been put on hold. Despite these measures that are being put in place to ensure that we stay home and stay safe, those who are taking part in these activities will also face the law.
We are now witnessing a spike in domestic violence, gender-based violence, and sexual offenses. Fellow Kenyans, I have witnessed within the area that I live in, within this Easter weekend, I actually had neighbors coming to my house to report a case of domestic violence. There's a lady who was severely beaten, and really as a Ministry of Health, what we are saying is now is not the time to engage in disputes and to bend about in terms of conferring domestic violence to our partners. We are also in constant communication with the Gender Violence Recovery Center, that's the GVRC, as well as the National Council on Administration of Justice. And both these two organizations have told us that there's an increase both in the numbers of gender-based violence and also sexual violence.
Well, it is sad to note that the perpetrators of these cases are actually close relatives to the people and the victims of sexual violence, domestic violence, and we just need to be our brother's keeper. And one thing that was said and added by the CAS is that despite the fact that we are experiencing and taking into consideration social distancing as it has been directed by the government and the Ministry of Health, there's one thing that we are not supposed to be forgetting: being your brother's keeper. There is a rising case of violence, yes, but believe me or not, we have people who are suffering from mental health. During this time, as people are staying put in their houses, it is only fair that you continue being your brother's keeper, continue calling that person and communicating often, because as the CAS is saying, this is a way of ensuring that we battle this as a community, and this is what she had to add on that.
We know that we have been asking you to maintain social distance in your interactions. However, it's important for us as a Ministry of Health to articulate that this does not mean you forget the social fabric that binds us together as Kenyans. We do request you to continue communicating with each other, to continue offering each other mental support during this time that we are at war with this virus. With the aid of technology, and our social lives should indeed continue and in fact even blossom during this period. Let us keep engaging each other through the available platforms. Let us counsel each other. Be your brother's keeper, fellow Kenyans.
Be your brother's keeper. That is the end of that statement. So be your brother's keeper. Call that person whom you think you have not talked to for a very long time and needs your help. And trust me, sometimes just talking to someone helps saving a life. And remember, we said the number of those suffering from mental health is also increasing. So just be there for your friend and your loved one, because at this time, we all need to be there for someone else. For a long time, we've been talking about the rent waiver. We've had landlords in different parts of the country. Some of them are waiving rent and some are not. Some still demand for rent payment from their tenants. And we've also heard of cases where some landlords have taken to extremes of even denying their tenants supply of water, electricity. And people are asking, and I remember when we raised this issue here in the show about the proposition for rent waivering, it brought a lot of questions. Some were for the idea, some were not. Because yes, landlords also need to survive. But right now, the government has spoken on this, and the Treasury CS Ukur Yatani has actually talked on this. And he said it is not their call to tell landlords to waiver the rent. So the government has put itself aside. It's upon every landlord to feel whether they want to waiver the rent or not. It is the call of each landlord and not the government. Because it says, look at it this way. As much as we want to sympathize with Kenyans who have lost their jobs maybe at this time and are struggling with the economy and during this COVID-19 pandemic to just put a plate on their table and for their kids. Some of them even cannot afford their rent right now. But what about this landlord who also depends on this rent to cater for their family? So he says, it is not upon the government, it is not upon the associations, but every landlord should decide for themselves whether they want to waiver the rent, whether they want to cut it into half, as we've seen some of the landlords doing, or they just decide to receive their rent as usual. Every landlord for himself on this. I don't know if you have come across any landlord, or if you're a tenant, has your landlord spoken to you about this? I also want to know your views on this stand by the government and also from the landlords. The WhatsApp number that you can use to text me from is 0786 316 316, SMS line 20316. We are live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. My name is Sarah Otieno, and we are live on This Is The Day, this beautiful Tuesday evening. My friend Sarah Naivasha, thank you so much for tuning in. And you are saying on the issue of ensuring that we are our brother's keeper, the CAS is very right. I called a friend of mine the other day, and trust me, she was falling into depression because her job ended, and right now all she needs is a friend in me. We should always call them often and make sure that our people are okay. Thank you so much, Sarah, for that message. You really appreciate, and thank you for tuning in all the way from Naivasha. We also have my name is Gabriel. I'm listening in from Embakasi. I have been following this show to make sure that I am up to date for some time now. I've not been texting, but yes, you guys are doing a great job. Asante sana for tuning in all the way from Embakasi, Mr. Gabriel. And I'm also waiting for your text, what you feel about the show, and also if you have any information that could be helpful to any other person. Yes, maybe you've come across a certain news item that you feel we can share to the other person. Also text us the details through the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316, SMS line 20316. It has been a couple of days after the 4 counties were put on lockdown. I'll use that word, lockdown, by the president himself. That is Nairobi, Mombasa, Kilifi, and Kwale. And we are having people who are still having it rough to observe these rules, not to move in and out of these counties. I am talking about the people that reside in the border area. I'll give an example of Rironi area, that is in Limuru, where the border has been put between Nakuru and Nairobi County. People are having it tough, and especially those who are moving for short distances. So you are living in one side of the border and your marketplace maybe is on the other side. You might be finding yourself on the wrong side of the law. And right now we are having traffic officers moving in these borders to make sure that the directives by the government are adhered to. What about these people who are moving for short distances? What will become of them if they do not observe these measures? This has been observed in different boundaries, including the one in Rironi. And as Lieutenant Colonel Kilel was touring with his department in that area, most of the people were observing the rules, and this is what he had to say.
Nimekuja na gari mpaka hapa kwenye bonde ya Rironi. Alafu sasa nafuka, alafu ili niweze kuendelea na safari yangu.
When they come here, we have to check on where they are going, whether they have any authorization letter, and if you have one, you have to take your temperature, and if your temperature is okay, we let you proceed.
Naona kila mtu ako katika harakati ya kujikinga na usafi unaendelea sasa. Kila mahali iko usafi, iko maji, iko sabuni, iko sanitizer. na mambo inaendelea kisasa katika nchi ya Kenya.
Tunasafirisha mwili. Kwa hivyo mimi naweza unga mkono hivyo venye mnafanya. Serikali inafanya ni mzuri, sababu hata kwa sisi wenyewe at least tunakuwa na usalama wetu.
A number of us have been dispatched from the center to various roadblocks within Nairobi. As you know, Nairobi is under lockdown or shutdown, and therefore we are here to monitor what is happening on the ground.
Well, the measures are strict, and despite the fact that we have people crossing the borders and those who are authorized, just those who are authorized, they must be having the correct documentation, and also most of them are tested as they move from one county to the next, and that is a good move. We need to continue observing the measures that have been put by the government. And talking of that, I am so proud of the Boda Boda operators. So just last week, we had the CS for Health complaining that some of these Boda Boda operators are being used for the wrong reasons, moving people from the counties that have been put on lockdown, not observing the rules, not wearing masks, not carrying actually more than one passenger at a time. But this time, it's different. They're actually putting these measures into place and observing them. We must give that to them. They are having masks. They are washing their hands. They only carry one passenger at a time. And I'm not talking about Nairobi County peke yake. All across the country, the Boda Boda operators are really trying. Listen in.
Tunapeana mask kuhimiza mabodaboda wajikinge. Yaani tunawashauri kuwa corona venye imeenea na venye tumehimizwa na Ministry of Health tuvae maski. Sasa leo imekuwa ni kazi ya kupeana mamaski kwa mabodaboda na kuwahimiza. Mwanzo walikuwa hawavai, lakini kwa sasa tumewafundisha na kuwahimiza na kuwapatia maski. Sasa naona wanazingatia sana.
Sasa wote tukikuwa wagonjwa, serikali itaweza kweli kuhakikisha imetibu kila mtu. Kwa hivyo hii serikali imetoa hiyo sheria sababu Wakenya hawataka kufuata. Na kinga ya hii ni kufuata sheria. Kinga ya corona ni kufuata guidelines. Basi ikiambiwa keep distance hiyo 1.5 or 1 meter, keep distance.
We want to be also an example for everybody. They should have to prioritize masks, washing hands, sanitize, and also staying home the much possible. We will see how also to give food and to help people to stay home more.
Well, it is encouraging to know that the members of the public are also concerned about their health and those of the Boda Boda operators, giving them the masks, the sanitizers, and that is a good move. That was in Mombasa. And if you have also come across your Boda Boda operators in your area, also tell me about it. Well, we have Agre who is saying you're listening in from Reagan. I totally enjoy listening to your music, sermons and teachings. Asante sana. And saying greetings to your wife, Liz, friends Devi, Chris, Joyce and Sammy. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have Ambrose who is saying, I have one guy who operates a Boda Boda and he told me he cannot work without a mask. So I had to provide for him a box of masks for him and for his customers. That guy is a life changer. That is a good information there. And if you have and know any operator that needs these things, these masks, the sanitizers, and you can afford it for them and provide it for them. If you are an employer of such people, then it is only fair that you also provide this for their loved ones. And as we talk about this, they're operating. We have the PSVs, public service vehicles, restricting the number of passengers that they can ferry at once in a go, and in one squad. They call it squads, and what they're calling for right now is that the government reduces the price for fuel. As much as they are working, it is less. The money that they used to get before is not the same. Right now that the restrictions are there, only up to 50% of the passengers, and that is the amount that they are supposed to ferry at a go. They're saying the fuel prices is killing them. So a reduction would really work.
Na vile tunabeba watu 8, hiyo mafuta hairudi. Sahi hata unaweza pata sahi tunaweka giri moja na tulikuwa tunaweka 3,500.
Walikuwa wanaenda skuli 5 na sahi wanaenda skuli 3.
Abiria wetu msichukulia tunawabeba na bei kali. Hapana, ni venye mambo iko na tuelewe si wote.
Haikuja kama 70 hivi. Vile wamekata wadhi kwa basi ama kwenye biashara nyingine, hata hiyo wamefanya half price.
Well, they're saying that with the reduction of the prices of fuel, then maybe their businesses will also be catered for. That is just them from the public service vehicles. Now, let's wait and see what the government will do on that concern. We have Vincent Kimutai listening in from Nakuru. You're saying, huku landlord amekuwa mkali, anaitisha rent in full. But we are praying God to have mercy on us. And indeed, that is our prayer as a nation, as Christians, that we will get through this. Thank you so much, Vincent Kimutai, all the way from Nakuru, for tuning in today. We also have... my name is Ruth from Utawala in Nairobi. I am blessed and I am praying that the Lord will just see our country through this. I am happy because I have seen different boda boda operators, especially around our area, observing the rules, and some of them are having masks. I came across one who was using a handkerchief and I asked him why. He said he cannot afford the mask. So I took it upon myself to buy him a mask. That is good. Asante sana, Ruth, and keep up the good spirit and the spirit of helping one another, because yes, that is what Christ expects from us as Christians. Kitambo kidogo, a few months ago, the routine in our country when it comes to weddings and just celebrating union of people is that we would go for services in church, and then after that there is a reception where we dance, we eat, come together as friends and family to just celebrate the union of our loved ones. Well, COVID-19 happened, and right now that dynamic is changing. People are doing their weddings with only a restricted number of people having to attend these weddings. Some of them are doing it virtually. You will witness that wedding, but you will not be present in that church. You will be witnessing it online through the social media platforms. Live recordings are done of videos. And there is one wedding in Thika where the parents of the bride and the groom were restricted and they were not allowed into the church. All this in the name of social distancing. And this is the rule by the government, by the way. So here is the story of this couple.
From this day forward, my solemn vow. And this is my solemn vow to you, Karen. To you, Karen. Ours postponing and wedding was not an option because marriage is a covenant. We could not postpone. We would have disappointed God. The only unfortunate thing that has happened is that my parents have not made to come to attend this wedding. After this honeymoon, tunaenda kwa nyumba. Hatuwezi taka kurisk juu government inatu restrict to go into public places, so there is no point of taking risk. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Tulikuwa tunatarajia na kwa vile tunatumia hii technology, tumeiona through technology na hata ikiwa na shida ya network tumefurahi hadi tumefika.
Hapo awali tulikuwa tumepanga siku ya hii harusi tutaenda tukiwa watu wengi sana, lakini kwa vile mambo yamekuwa ya corona hatukuwa tukiweza kuenda.
The thing with my parents is that they were able to accept that which is happening.
Well, my question to you would be, is it right for people to postpone weddings? Because as it is right now, a lot of people have postponed their weddings because of the COVID-19 issue. Would you postpone your wedding or would you do it virtually? I want to know your views. If you are supposed to wed at this time, and you know weddings are not done overnight, there is planning, there is preparation. We had people who had prepared for their weddings, maybe during this April season. Would you do it? or would you postpone it? The WhatsApp number is the same, 0786 316 316, SMS line 20316. I want to know your views. In the meantime, social distancing led to the suspension of different social gatherings, including our services in church. Most churches closed down, and during the services, we only have a number of people, and it's very minimal, who attend services, and most of these services are streamlined online for the congregation to have a look and have a listen for the sermons. Well, how is this affecting our faith as Christians? How is this lockdown, let me call it that way, how is this pandemic, and how has the closure of churches affected our faith? How are we making sure that as a church, as the leader of the church, you still take care of the spiritual feeding of your congregation? The name is Pastor Joseph Njenga of Destiny Connectors, and he explains how as a church they have decided to make it happen.
Kuna kitu ambacho akizuiwezi kuzuiwa ni kanisa, na kitu hicho kinaitwa maombi, na maombi inaendelea manyumbani, njiani na mahali popote huko. Na kama sisi wachungaji tunaendelea kuripoti kwa ofisi zetu. Ofisi zetu ni kanisani, na tunaendelea kuomba na tunaendelea kushikilia taifa letu wakati huu mgumu. Ya washirika wetu tunatumia njia za WhatsApp na SMS, na njia moja tunawaleta kwa jumla ni Facebook. Wakati mwingine tunakuwa na wakati wa kurecord live, na nitawaambia ndakuwa wakati fulani kwa Facebook waingie, na nimeona wengi wakifuata, na kwa hivyo ninaamini bado wanaendelea kuhudumiwa wakiwa manyumbani. Wakati ule wakale, mtazamo tuliokuwa nao ni kwamba watu wanakuja kanisani kupata nguvu za Mungu alafu waende nyumbani. Lakini kumbe nguvu za Mungu ziko kila mahali, na wanaweza kutengeneza madhabahu ndani ya nyumba zao, na wakianza kuomba, waanze kuimba, wajifundishe hata kusoma neno la Bwana. Hata jana nilifundisha watoto wangu namna ya kutafsiri maandiko ili waanze kujua, na kanisa litakaporejea katika kukusanyika pamoja litakuwa na nguvu zaidi kuliko vile lilikuwa kabla ya korona. Tunakubali ya kwamba ni hali ambayo hatukuizoea, hatujawahi kuijua, hata hatukujiandaa kwa sababu yake. Kwa hivyo ni ile na kizungu nasema unprecedented, haikutarajiwa. Shetani kama ananisikia mahali yako, akifikiri amepiga kanisa, hajapiga, kwa sababu kanisa itarudi na nguvu kuliko vile alifikiria, because Mungu anaweza kutumia njia yoyote kujitukuza. Kwa hivyo hata hii corona italeta faida kwa watu wengi sana ambao wamesimama katika imani.
Well, that has been Pastor Joseph Njenga explaining how they have conducted their services. And I just want to encourage you, during this time, keep your faith. It is a time that our faith is tested, literally. We need to stand in the gap and make sure that we are there, even as Christians, despite the challenges that we are having, we still stand strong on our faith. Ama namna gani? That should be it. He is back again with me, Sarah Otieno. Thank you so much for making time for this program. We have my friend Agri, who is saying, in our church, our pastor usually communicates to us via WhatsApp, where he shares sermons almost daily. Members share encouragement and other inspirational messages. But we also have individual prayer moments in church, where one goes on their own time for prayers, not in groups. That is really nice of you. Thank you so much. And it is a good job from your congregation and the pastor. We have Alice, who is commenting on the issue of weddings. She says, I better postpone my wedding because this virus and the masks is not a very good show, because I want to have beautiful photos for my wedding. Thank you so much, Alice. Thank you for your view on that story. Would you postpone your wedding because of the COVID-19? Right now, if you have to do the wedding, then you must be having your mask on, lest you fall in the arms of the law and paying up to 20,000 Kenya shillings. That is not a very good idea for most of the people. So would you postpone it, or would you do it right now? That's the question. But as we talk about the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a proposition that the healthcare workers be given a special allowance as they take care of people during this time of struggle. And the healthcare unit right now is really some trying time being faced over there. Yes, so this proposition was to give them a special allowance, but it was not approved by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, that is the SRC. And according to some of the county representatives, the governments and also the representatives from Kenya Medical Practitioners and Pharmacists and Dentists Union, that is KMPDU, they said it is not right, it is only fair that these people are given this allowance. Listen in.
We have a number of counties that are illegally withholding allowances and others' salaries. Taita Taveta County has withheld emergency call allowance and risk allowance for the doctors since November 2019. We have moved to court, but beyond moving to court, I think this is the time that they need to reinstate those allowances.
The health workers have to be supported. That is, the nurses, doctors, clinical officers have to be supported in a very big way. What they are doing, what they are handling, the care they are taking for the coronavirus patients, that's a very big risk. In fact, they should be given what is called a risk allowance, from what they are doing, what they are handling, to bring our resources together and see how we are tackling this pandemic in our respective counties. There is no development which is ongoing right now. There is nothing which is ongoing right now. Everything has been suspended. Even the national government has slashed the budget, the national budget through the National Assembly. And that is what we should be advocating for.
Ikiwa wakati kama huu wa afya, reaction yao, hata wakunipigia simu, hata wakuniandikia barua kuniuliza how are you doing it or why are you doing it, wanipatie advice, yao ni kuishu barua ya kujaribu kunishtua na kushtua wengine. Kweli hawa watu kweli, do we really need such a commission in Kenya? Ama ni watu wanaongezwa tu mshahara, wanaongeza tu ile pesa inalipa watu, badala hizo pesa zitolewe zilipe madaktari wetu na nurses wetu. Because what our people need are services, not lectures. What our people need is to be saved. They don't need people writing letters and not even communicating properly. And so, basi nasema kwamba mimi, kaunti yetu ya Machakos itaendelea kuwapa allowances tulizotangaza wahudumu wetu wa afya, na hata tutasimamishwa na mtu, kwa sababu hiyo ni haki yetu, tunafanya kisheria.
Well, remember the CRC actually wrote a letter to the Council of Governors wanting them to stop the issuing of a special allowance to the health workers who are taking care of COVID-19 patients and also helping fight the pandemic. But as it stands right now, the county heads are not for the idea. They want to give this allowance to the health workers. Would you do the same if you were given that chance? And also, the COTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli is not for the idea that this allowance should not be given to the health workers. Actually, he says the CRC should be banned completely, dissolved, because as it stands, according to Francis Atwoli, the commission is not doing its job. It's just overstating the mandate that was given to the county government.
Any employer, particularly the devolved system in Kenya, governors and their governance and their county governments are independent mean presidents of those counties, and they can make decisions, quick decisions on the people that they lead. An investor would like to negotiate freely with his employee and construct contracts without interference of anybody else. Government, for that matter, is the main employer. County governments are employers, and they must be given leeway to make decisions independently. That SRC is not reflected in the new coming constitutional arrangements.
Well, according to the COTU Secretary General, he says it's only fair that these workers are treated with much more care, especially when it comes to their allowance, because they are exposed, and right now they're the people who are taking care of the positive patients. this small allowance will not be bad for the health workers. That is his take, and we are waiting to see. But we have some of the counties that are saying they are still going to give allowance to their healthcare workers, despite the letter that was written by SRC. Let's wait and see where this goes. Thank you, Samuel, or you're listening in from Mamboleo in Kisumu, for texting in today and for tuning in. Do you remember the story of Africans who are being bullied and mistreated in China? And this was a result of this, what I would call the second phase of infection. And they were saying it is brought in by foreigners. That led to the mistreatment of Africans who are living in China. And they were saying it's because of them that these cases are coming up again. Being thrown out of your house, of your apartment, that is the frustration they were going through. Being forced to sleep in the streets, going without food, and even forceful quarantine. That is what they were going through. And it was not human at all. They complained. And right now the international organizations now want China to step in. And they are saying, and they have vowed, that they will treat Africans fairly. They will improve their treatment for Africans, even during this time, as they are battling international cases in their country. Well, that only means one thing, that as Africans and as Kenyans, we also have Kenyans in China who are studying and who are living there because of one reason or another. They will be treated fairly, and the treatment and the mishandling that has encountered them for some time will change. Let's wait and see how that goes. But in the meantime, yesterday we talked about the issue of food, where we have farmers complaining that they have food in their stores, in their granaries, and nowhere to take them, and actually just wanted the boards, the cereals board, to open up so that they can sell their maize, their dry cereals to this board and to the government at a lower price of about 3,500 shillings per bag. It's not only happening in Kenya. Also in the USA, we have farmers who have these goods. They have produce, but cannot take them to the food banks because of the measures and the lockdown that has been put by the government in that country. And at the same time, we have a lot of Americans queuing up to the food banks for food which is limited. Some staying as long as 24 hours before they can get access to that small food that is provided in the food bank. So let us look at the numbers of America. The USA right now have 587,337 confirmed cases of COVID-19. And we have 44,000 who've recovered. And out of that, we also have 23,649 people who've died following the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a sad time. And there is a lockdown in that country. But people need food. They are queuing for hours just to access the food banks and get something for their little ones. It is sad.
We have to do this to survive. I'm just a single parent. There's nobody but me.
I had a lady here yesterday with 4 little kids in the car, and she says, I'm a waitress and I don't have any.
Almost every parent, right, who has to come and ask for diapers, you can feel this and see this just like visceral fear and worry.
When they see that box of food coming into the car, some of them smile and some of them cry.
We're seeing them from all income levels, because when somebody gets laid off and the income stops coming in, even if they may have a fancy car or fancy house, they're going to be hungry.
Well, someone might ask, why do we have such scenarios in our countries? Maybe it calls for the government to be a little more prepared. When we have farmers with food, and right now when there is this pandemic, should we prepare in advance? Maybe that could be the big question even for our government and the ministries that are responsible for the foods and agriculture departments. Should we prepare in advance so that we have enough food in our stores when it comes to the worst, and we are praying it does not go there? Sylvia Omuse, listening in from Menengai Police Station in Nakuru. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and say hi to your little girl. Well, we have also Ruben tuned in from Kisumu. Asante sana for tuning in today. We have people who are helping, and especially Prince William was saying that the British community right now is a little more tighter. It is a community and people are helping each other. And he said that while he was video chatting with a woman who is helping communities in the vulnerable areas, those who cannot afford a plate and food for their families. So this woman packs foods and delivers to these people who are on lockdown, by the way, and cannot move to get food. So she packs the food and delivers it to their doorstep. Prince William said this is a good move. Listening.
And where are you, Jackie, exactly?
So Goole, which is in the East Riding of Yorkshire,
Right.
lots of small villages, lots of rural isolation as well. We've been providing Meals on Wheels service for about 12 years now. So we do a hot meal that's freshly cooked that morning, and then it's delivered in thermal boxes straight to the customers. So they actually get a nice meal, not a frozen meal or in a plastic container or anything like that.
And Jackie, how has the NET helped you? Has it given you some money, and what are you expecting from it?
Because of the panic buy-in, there was a lot of items that families in particular were really struggling with. We got the application in, got the funds straight away, so we could buy powdered milk for babies, we could buy sanitary products for women, nappies, all sorts. So those things that were vital but were being taken off the shelves of the supermarkets. So that was great that we had that really, really quickly and could have those resources there to support people. There's nothing like something like a crisis to bring you all together and, you know, to work cohesively, and that's really worked well. It's been fantastic.
That's good to hear, Jackie. I agree with you. I think Britain is at its best, weirdly, when we're in a crisis. We all pull together, and that community spirit and that community feel comes rushing back quicker than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. This weekend, we're sending out some bags of happiness. So we've had some of the East Riding staff making up some little bags, and they've got scented candles in. They've got some nice chocolates in.
Jackie, you're doing a fantastic job. Please pass on, many good wishes and big thank yous to all the volunteer team you've got up there.
Could I just ask you to do a high five for all of the volunteers in East Riding? Go high fiver.
Of course, I'll do a virtual high five.
That's it, lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No worries at all. Lovely to speak to you, Jackie.
And you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, can you imagine being called by the son of a king, the grandson of a queen, just because you're doing some good deed for the community? And during this time, as everyone is in need of that, this is how we spread hope. This is how we show that we are there for each other. And Prince William has been doing this not only to these communities, but also even to the young girls as they study online, and even teaching them, making phone calls to different people in Britain and the British community, just to show them that, you know what, we are together in this. This is something that even our politicians should emulate. Don't you think so? Spread that hope. Make sure you tell someone that you care for them. Make that phone call of someone that you think needs your help. Maybe someone just needs to listen. Needs someone to listen to them. Be that person. Offer help in every small way that you can, so that we spread this hope and be a community and tell the next person that, you know what, we shall overcome this together, just you and me. Be there for your neighbor. Thank you so much for tuning in to This Is the Day. My name is Sarah Otieno. Tomorrow morning we have Pastor James Okumu on Jam 316, and we also have Pastor Benjamin Waka on Prayer Circle during the same time. And we shall get to pray together, and together we shall overcome. I will see you tomorrow.